Jen, can we get a quick introduction?
Absolutely. I'm Jay Davies. I'm the interim Public Works Director, ASU graduate. So glad to see you all here. I've been with the city. I'm in my 24th year. Spent a lot of time in the police department, a little bit in the city manager's office, and right now as the interim Public Works Director. Very excited to have you all here. I've already talked with Dr. Lee and her class, but Dr. Brown, thrilled to have you working on the two projects that you just announced. Those are kind of the next big horizons for us in the recycling world, which Aaron will talk more about, but very excited to have students diving into those to help us understand the possibilities. So with that, I'm going to turn over to Rhonda next, and then we'll let Aaron go last because he's going to kind of lead us on the tour.
So welcome. We're looking forward to working with you guys again. We got some great information last year, some great ideas, amazing research, pulled it out, hoping to start truly digging into some of it and looking at how we can implement it. And I think part of it is in partnering to now take it to the next step, and how do we do that outreach? So looking very excited to having group participation again this particular semester. And we know it's short, and we come in and we have 1,000 things. That's where we also want feedback from you guys, and Elle's great about helping us rein it in. So appreciate your time and your efforts.
And my name is Aaron Redd. Welcome all of you. I'm the solid waste manager. I manage a group of about 60. Included in that group are solid waste inspectors. So they're the individuals that go out and try to reduce recycling contamination and encourage recycling. Last year, like Rhonda said, we received some really good information from the students about what we can do with styrofoam, and we hope to put that into use pretty soon. One of the things that really I'm excited about is how we can recycle e-waste. It's one of those where, customer call, what do I do with this? I want to keep it out of the landfill. We're in a unique situation because we don't own a landfill. So we have different places that we take our recyclables to. And so just sending them to another city doesn't seem to be good enough. So we're going to hold America's Peoria Recycles Day in connection with America Recycles Day here in November. And so we're going to get a lot of e-waste, I'm sure, but from that, individuals will want to know, where's my e-waste going? So I would look forward to hearing all of your thought processes as to how we can do that. We are going to take a tour here. I will say, since we don't have a landfill or a MRF here, a lot of things that you will be able to see will just be about our operations. And we'll let you look at collection trucks. We have a barrel yard out there. You can see, kind of how we run things. I had talked to Stephen and Al about maybe in the future, if you all are interested, especially when it comes to the gasification, and we're talking about e-waste, maybe taking you to a landfill, and then also taking you to the Phoenix MRF, if you'll be interested in seeing how those operations run. So, like I said, just happy to work with you. Excited to see what you give us.
Thank you for that, for those introductions, everyone. Looking forward to moving on to our next step. But before we move into our tour, I've asked our hosts to just kind of give us the big picture. Public Works is an enormous department. There's a lot of operations, but maybe talk a little bit about what's happening here on site. We're going to do the kind of preview before the tour, go on the tour, and yeah, I guess let's make it a dialogue. If you can share a little bit of big picture, what's going on here at this facility before we go. And students, please, at any point today, go ahead and throw any questions you have out at our experts here. These are some great contacts for your projects.
All right. So Public Works is made up of 5 divisions. 2 of them we consider internal. That's fleet. They handle all of the city vehicles from purchasing to maintaining and disposing at the end of their life. They're actually located here at this facility. The other internal service is facilities. They're not really housed here. They're housed over at City Hall, but they work at all of our dozens and dozens of facilities around the city, from construction to maintenance to dealing with things as they pop up, planning for future facilities, janitorial, anything facilities related. they handle that. And then our three external departments are streets. We have a streets crew that does anything from striping to signals to actually repaving in some instances, whether that's themselves or on larger projects, contracting with outside construction firms, but maintaining the very high standards that we have for our roadways in Peoria. The next external group is Aaron's group, solid waste and recycling, and you'll learn a lot more about them today. And then the third external group is transit. So our transit is part of a larger regional system. It's very complex in terms of the funding, from the federal level, the state level, and even some of our own local dollars. Provide a variety of services from large, the kind of traditional large buses. It comes as part of kind of an old school Uber where you make an appointment for a single ride for a single person. Typically, that's for folks under ADA or seniors, trips of that nature, getting to doctors, things like that. Part of the tour, we'll actually show you a dial-a-ride bus, one of our small dial-a-ride buses. And then we've got a couple other pretty exciting transit projects coming up. POGO, if you've heard of POGO from a couple years back, we've kind of reimagined that, and that'll launch at the end of October. It's kind of on a spur system where from any corner of the city, you can catch the POGO Friday through Sunday, 10 to 10, and ride it to any of what we call the activity centers in Peoria, which is Old Town, P83, and then there's an area called Four Corners, which is kind of another collection of restaurants and venues up way north, about Happy Valley and 83rd Ave or Lake Pleasant Parkway. So that's POGO. And then the other new exciting one is RoboRide Medical. So we did an autonomous vehicle pilot a year ago, 2 years ago. And we did it in last year. We did that in P83. It was, yeah, that's right. We launched it right as COVID showed up. So we got a few days, maybe a couple of weeks of it, and then had to go away. We're bringing that back under a different model, and that will launch here at the beginning of October. It's a fully autonomous vehicle. It will have an attendant, but it will operate autonomously. And it's going to run really in the area of what we call Plaza del Rio, which is a heavily concentrated senior area, a lot of doctor's appointments. But there's also some standard residential apartments, things of that nature, some small businesses over there. So we'll kind of circulate through that area, give people the experience, give them the opportunity to ride an autonomous vehicle in what I would call a safe environment. It's not going, across town like some of the other pilots that you see around the country or even around the valley here. Kind of a safe environment, largely kind of a large commercial parking lot area. There's some low speed public roads there, but again, kind of a contained environment. So we're really excited about launching that. Still getting all of that dialed in, but that's about to roll out. So that's what Public Works contains. Aaron is the man on the ground here we call this Municipal Operations Center, and he is the expert on what is actually here.
It's a really state-of-the-art facility. I was very impressed when I started here in 2013. We even have a workout room. So everybody uses that workout room. Kind of died down during COVID, but now that restrictions are not what they used to be, it's one of the perks. We have another room, which I was able to track that I lost 25 pounds. Hey, yay for me. So we have all of our biometric stuff, in this little room here. If you go down the right-hand side, water services, what used to be called utilities, their main room for all of their operators is on the right. Their admin staff is on the left. If you go further west down to the left, that's the streets office. And then again, they have another building for all of their techs and all of their meter guys, those types of things. And then we come to our office, the solid waste office. And I'm really excited to show you that because we just recently did a remodel. I think about 2 months ago, we just moved in. So this yellow that you see, and I won't call it yellow, but whatever it is, you'll see a different calming color as you come into our offices. We have another technology room. We have some new software that we place into our new vehicles to kind of give us service verification and monitor our fleet. So you'll get a chance to see that. And then you'll also see our new conference room that we built. And then you have parks, which is just to the west of them. And if you really want to see the workout room, we can take a look at the workout room too. Okay?
Very excited. to start this project for the semester. My job at ASU is actually to convene our local communities, so cities, towns, tribal communities, and counties on sustainability related topics. So we have different work groups that meet consistently. Peoria is an active participant in that. We talk about energy, we talk about green infrastructure, climate resilience, heat, pretty much anything and everything that the cities want to talk about and work on together. So Project Cities is one of those programs, I guess you could say, that has come out of our work over the last 12 years in taking on individual projects from cities. So this is like the culmination of our experiences, is creating a program like this where we can work with one dedicated community at a time on a series of projects. So we're excited. Alan's been a fabulous faculty to work with over the course of time. So, and my background is actually solid waste and recycling. So I love this. I kind of down on this.
All right, thank you, Anne. Now, students, before we break off, do you have any questions at this stage? Brief pause, check in. We're gonna do, we have a question.
I have a question. I guess I'm the only one here for transit. So the question that our group had, I wanted me to ask when we start the tour, do you know of any external factors or any factors that are down or less right now?
Yes, there are a few that I'll tackle, and I'll also defer to Rhonda. She's got a long history with this. The things that occurred to me right off the top are folks are not, it's intimidating. They're unfamiliar with how the system works. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a bus, it's a schedule, it's a mapped route, but not everybody's good with that. And there's so many buses and so many stops, it can be a little overwhelming. Once you get into it, it's pretty easy. It's pretty intuitive. And once folks tend to use them in patterns. So once you know which bus you get on at which stop to get to your doctor, it's pretty easy to do. I would say the other thing that holds folks back, and this is legit, is it's a lot quicker to take your car from point A to point B because you're the only one. And if you stop, it's because you wanted to stop, versus transit that does have to stop and pick up others. So that's one. Just generally in terms of transit, although this isn't a big issue here, but transit can bring with it crime and blight, and there's concern about who you're riding with. Arizona and Peoria in particular, very low crime rates, very safe city. So that's not necessarily a reality, at least not in Peoria, in the suburbs. But I know that perception is out there, fear of who might be on the bus and fear of being, victimized in that way. Ron, anything you would add to that? She said, I pretty much covered all the main reasons. All right.
Thank you very much for the help.
We don't have any partnerships. What we have been doing is referring all of our residents to the city of Glendale. The city of Glendale offers e-waste disposal. So their residents or residents of the city of Peoria can basically go there, and I think it might be $15. Don't quote me on that, but if they're a very small fee, they can take their electronics to the city of Glendale. So that's really the only partnership that we have. Tech companies, not yet.
All right, awesome. Well, anything else before we go? Then let's do it.
Oh, all right. Well, you switched dispatchers on me. I talked to Stacy earlier and warned her, Terry, I'm here with a group of students from ASU and some faculty.
Hi.
They're going to be doing a project, some of them, around transit awareness and education, trying to encourage ridership. So they're just here a quick tour. So who's driving this. You heard Terry explain that technically it's open to anyone, but these days with Uber and for a non-handicapped person to use this, it's not free, and it's not necessarily any more cost effective than Uber. And even if it were the same, an Uber is you where you want to go when you want to get there. This, as you heard Terry say, has to be scheduled, and it's subject to availability. So it's not particularly efficient as like a rideshare type of program.
Right.
So it's probably primarily for people who really habitually or on a scheduled basis.
Nice and spacious, got adjustable seating, ADA accessible.
The efficiency of having to plan it a day in advance. So I think the wheelchair accessibility, I guess for those who are like.
It's gonna walk us through it.
All right, so let's get out of the sun. Jay wanted to have us in the sun, but I'm gonna get us out. All right, so we'll go in here, let you see our workout room. Anybody wants to get buff? Yeah, so a number of years ago, the Human Resources Department collaborated with our union and talked about ways in which we can keep our staff healthy. One of the things that the city does is promote good health. We do have a rewards program right now where depending on like the number of courses you take in regards to like cholesterol and even mental wellness, mental health, the city will give you what is it, $500 toward your insurance premiums per year, which is a nice little bonus. It works out to be about $25, $30 a paycheck, but it's still $25 to $30 you get to keep in your wallet. And so they have either purchased or some of it was donated, this equipment. So we have free weights, and we have also ellipticals, we have the treadmills, and then some stuff to crunch your abs and get everything back in shape the way it should be. So we're proud of it. And it is well used. We find individuals from different departments, even individuals that are not on this campus, they come in and use the facility. So it works.
I like the fans that are right there and over there.
Oh, show me that again. All right, so we'll go and we'll show you our offices, solid waste offices. So just before we go in, I want to give you a little bit of background as to why we were able to remodel our office. This all started with the carpet, and the carpet was really nasty. You can imagine that as drivers get out of their trucks and have to go and look at their trucks while at the landfill, they pick up a lot of contaminants. And so over the years, probably 10 to 15 to be exact, we started having a problem with allergies, people sneezing. So we just thought, you know what, it's going to be good for us to replace the carpet. Well, we missed the boat. That's one of our inspectors. Well, we're going to meet you anyway, Melissa. So it didn't happen. The carpet replacement didn't happen. And so our director at the time, Kevin Burke, says, well, what do you really need? Let's talk about what you really need. And so we were able to get capital improvement funds. And lo and behold, we now have a new office that we can brag about. So I'll get to show you right now. So this is where our driver's room is. We have all of our lockers. There are 3 PCs for our drivers and inspectors to get on and check their emails, check for latest events that may come from the city manager or other individuals. And this is also where they receive their daily assignments. I told you about a new technology that we just implemented. It's called Routeware. And it is a system that basically gets rid of paper maps. It also allows the driver to record whether a container was out for service or not. And that's huge in two ways. The service verification allows us to say, okay, when a customer says, well, my can was out, it wasn't really. Well, we're taking the picture, that container was either out or not out. And so if the driver, if there's a container not out, the driver will hit a skip button and that will record, the event. So in other words, it takes a picture, even while moving, you can just hit this little pounder button and I'll show you that pounder button. He hits the red button, it takes a picture, we get to see what's in the driveway. There it is. Thank you, Nathan. That is the pounder. It's like playing a video game. The other thing that it does for us is we have a lot of containers that are not accounted for. So sometimes they show up, people just automatically have 2 or 3 containers. Wow. Are you paying for 2 or 3 containers? Maybe not. So it allows us then to go in and pull those containers or tell the resident you can have the 2nd or 3rd container for an additional fee. So that saves us either the tonnage, which accounts to money that we spend at the landfill, or it allows us now, condensed routes. So either way you look at it, the service verification is huge. We don't have these TVs set up yet, but Nathan, can you pull up Routeware? Okay, so this is what you will be able to see once these screens are up. So this shows where all of our trucks are in the city at one time. It also allows us to know how many containers are still left for any particular driver. The green is the amount done, the pink or the red there is the amount remaining. And then why don't you pull up, Nathan, if you can, pull up a skip. Yeah. So this is one driver, and this is either a container that wasn't out. And as you can see, we have verification. So it's, go ahead, I'm sorry. It is not. Routeware is across the country. They started in Portland. They were in Tempe first, but not fully engaged. We kind of took the baton and made it, available for use on all of our vehicles. And now Gilbert has jumped on, and now they're in Los Angeles. I mean, there's just so many places that they are now. So, I mean, we're just scratching the surface. We still are going to find out all of the benefits, but for now, it allows us to get that verification. And this is Nathan Owen, who is one of our solid waste leads. Don't mind the Arizona Cardinal picture in the back. All right, Mickey's not here. And these are where our inspectors are. So this is Leanne. Hi. This is Renee, and that's Melissa. So Melissa, can you tell our folks what it is you do and how long you've been here?
I've been here for 14 years already. So basically my job is picking your trash. Every day we go out, have a route that we go look at, and we will pop it open, check to see if they're recycling correctly. They have the right recyclables in there. Try to educate. If they have anything wrong in there, we'll leave them a tag. If they're doing a good job, we leave them a tag for that. We leave them a tag to have bad stuff in there, like plastic bags and stuff. Is basically like an educational tag we'll leave them. And then if they have something really bad like trash in their recycle can, we will try to make contact with the resident. And if they don't answer, we leave that tag on the can. Kind of interesting. So, kind of interesting.
I have a question. What are some of the more surprising or more common errors that people are making?
Well, one of the most common is plastic bags.
Yeah.
Plastic bags is one of the big things that we see in there. It's just something that's kind of hard to get out of the waste stream.
We do educate and let them know that stores take the bags, they can take them to the stores and recycle them, but it's a common thing that we see. One of the worst things I think we see is diapers. I think about it, like, why would you even put that in there? But we do see it in the yard.
The problem is nesting. So when there's different types of recyclables inside a cardboard box, for example.
One of the incentives for us to reduce recycling contamination is if we get to below 20%, we get an extra $5 off of our processing fees. So huge incentive. Recently, we invested $1 million in their MRF to upgrade equipment. And so the upgraded equipment has allowed them to sort a little better. They use opticals and other tools. But the nesting, as you call it, we wish people wouldn't do that because that is, materials that will now go to residual that could actually be placed in a container. We just did a study over the last few months. We did a blue lid program. Our recycle cans are chocolate, so they're brown, and then our trash cans are brown. So a little bit of confusion to the residents as to what's trash, what's recycled. So by doing that, we saw a significant reduction in contamination. And doing, separating, like you said, allows more material to be recycled, and now less that it becomes residual and runs into the trash. Absolutely. All right, so then we have, hey.
Do you have any trash audits that the students could use for their reports?
We actually do.
Oh, yay.
We actually do. We just, matter of fact, our environmental coordinator just got all of the information back from our the Recycle Partnership and Kessler, which is the individuals who actually did the audit.
Excellent.
So yes, we'll be
help
happy to share. Absolutely. And behind you is Leanne, and Leanne is working on, she's a special assignment. She's working on routeware. You want to tell them what you're doing?
We haven't linked our so North Star is like our system that we all use here in the city for I was like, okay, for the every address in the city is in North Star, so residential, commercial. So before the two are linked and communicate with each other, we got to do some manual stuff to get it ready. So right now we have the tablets out on route, but since they don't talk yet, we haven't, the new builds are not in the system yet. So I have to go in and put the new builds in, route them where they're supposed to be. So when the driver gets out to the new build houses, he's able to check them off that they've been serviced. So it's until they talk, it's kind of manual. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm doing any other kind of notes that the drivers leave in the tablet when they're en route. Any problems they have at the address, any kind of contamination that's in the containers, or duplicate containers. They have 2 containers that they only pay for 1. So that's just going and backtracking and fixing what the drivers have issues with. So that's what I'm doing.
All right, thank you. And then Renee is our utility guy. So he part-time serves as a driver. We have, I don't know if you know about the shortage of staff in America, especially when it comes to drivers, but there is a crisis right now for sure. And so we were down 6 employees at one time. Now we hopefully this with the one interview we just had today, we'll be back up to full staff. But until then, he takes time away from his job as an inspector, and he actually drives. So what do you see while you're out there as an inspector? Anything as far as contaminant?
Yeah, just like Melissa was saying, a bunch of diapers, plastic bags, especially that's a big thing in our recycling container, plastic bags and styrofoam. And a lot of people put green waste in there thinking it's recyclable also.
Absolutely. Yeah. And just kind of go ahead, sorry. What we've done is we've identified basically 12 zones across the city, known to have, kind of a lot of trees, a lot of foliage. And so what we're doing is we're not doing it out of the residential stream. We're actually collecting it along with the bulk trash. So we're asking our residents to place, on one side of the driveway, the regular bulk trash, on the other side of the driveway, the green waste. We have a crew that goes in first, grabs all of the green waste, and then another crew that comes back and sweeps up the rest of it. So this is our second cycle. We run twice a year, our bulk trash, 57 zones. And so now we're in the middle of the second collection. We're going to evaluate the data once this year is done, and then we will be able to see whether or not, we'll take that to city council and to executive leadership, and we'll decide whether or not that's going to be a program that is, continual.
I have one more question
Yes.
about recycling. It's relating to the sorting and the inspection process. So the city of Peoria then sorts it before it goes to the MRF, right?
No.
Oh, interesting.
No, it is dropped in the brown bin and then magically carried over to the city of Phoenix. And then they have a material recovery facility that sorts out all of the material.
So then, as far as inspection is concerned, so that you can ensure that there's little contamination in what you're sending to the city, is it a random inspection process, or how is, or is it every bin is just looked in, or?
Good question. So we have four inspectors for just over 60,000 residential accounts. So as you can imagine, they're spread very, very thin. Then you take them out and you put them in trash trucks, and then you can see how many inspections we're able to do. What we try to do is they are assigned a quadrant of the city. And so, they're assigned a trash day. So in other words, our trash is split up into 4 days. So each one of them has a section. And so then they'll go and they'll take a map or two, and they'll start there. And then also any calls that come in from the driver saying, hey, I found a container that was full of yard waste. And we're able to do that because there are cameras in the house.
Oh,
so as a container's dumped, the driver can see what the contents are.
Oh, amazing.
So we're watching.
Really neat.
Yes, sir.
So I had 2 questions related to that. Do you have anything in place if somebody has like excessive recycling every week or excessive trash every week, that you go out and ask if they want another bin, or if there's something they can do to help that?
Yeah, so a driver will call in and say, hey, this is overloaded. They'll call the inspector. Inspector goes and what happens. Gives the education, talks to the resident, or leaves something on the container. If there are recidivism and it happens over and over again, then the inspector will, basically suggest that they either get another recyclable container, which it's no charge for another recycled container, or an additional fee for a trash container.
And the other thing I was thinking when they were speaking about contaminants, are there only certain trucks that pick up the recycling, or do they pick up both trash and recycling?
So you mean at one time?
No, like in the same truck on one trip, they'll pick up all the trash and go another trip to pick up trash.
Right, great question. So no, it's not like Surprise or some other cities. We have our drivers are dedicated to either serving or collecting trash or collecting recycling. And that could range to about 1,000 living units for trash, about 1,300 living units for recycle. Any other questions? Go ahead. I see you want to.
I'm not sure. This might be getting a little too. As far as recidivism, if someone's been issued a warning, are you aware that basically their behavior improves as a response to that, or?
Normally it does. Yeah, normally it does.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
With regards to your education, as far as, do you have any, I'm assuming your information that you provide out is in English. Is it also in Spanish, or do you have other languages?
It is. We have English and Spanish, and we have some samples. Oh, look at that. You have the oops. You have the oops.
In your way.
No, you can have this too.
You have the oops? You have the oops?
Thank you.
Okay, that's it. So here are the materials that we have, and they're in different languages.
Does this benefit you or is this?
You can keep it.
Oh, we keep it?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And
All
are
right.
do you get positive feedback from your residents on the
We do.
materials you're providing?
We do.
Okay.
Really good feedback as a matter of fact. All right. Shall we keep moving?
Want the e-waste. Into any of the recycling.
No.
That's banned, right? That's banned, right? So right now it's going into to the landfill. Unless they take it to a place where they can recycle.
But we don't want it there. It doesn't mean it doesn't go in there.
But we
in
don't
the
want it
recycling.
there. It doesn't mean it
So we're
doesn't
trying to
go
keep
in
it out of
in
the
the recycling. So we're trying to keep it out of.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
I have a question. So say if any of the students want to follow up on any of this material, would they connect with you? Would you be able to kind of help them answer questions, connect with other
I'll
folks?
get
Get a few cards out of it.
Cool, great.
All right. We ready? All right.
You want to talk a little bit more about what you do, Alan?
Sure. So I'm supervisor for recycle, like you said. I manage a lot of the employee evaluations for my people. I have about 15 under me right now. I also do some projects. We recently just completed a project where we labeled all the cans at a small HOA where they're always put them very close together. So we got the numbers on them so we can tell which one's which. And also coming up soon, we're gonna be doing a reroute for the city, kind of changing around some people's days of service and expanding for our expansion of north. So I'll be working on that.
Okay. And you were
route.
Yes, route where so Nathan handles kind of the dispatch side of route where I assign the trucks. I kind of dive more into it, get into the reports and how people are using it, troubleshooting some of the problems drivers have with it, that kind of thing.
I know you. No, Lisa, come on back. I know you're trying to hide. So this is our pride and joy. This is our we call it our side motor, our conference room. It's named after one of our types of vehicles. And we have a nice little smart board that we're able to use to have meetings. A lot of meetings. And we're looking to get a webcam so that we can stream as well. So very nice. You like the graph? You like the graph? I was thinking of putting like a blue strip along the top. This is Scott. The other legal selection supervisor. Scott is responsible for the trash side, and Lisa does commercial, which involves roll off and front load, and then she also is supervising our bulk trash collection. So much of the green waste that we just talked about. Lisa supervises that group. So any questions for these folks?
Is it competitive? What are the alternatives?
So very competitive. All of our customers have the ability to go elsewhere. One of the things that we have going for us is we have a pretty low recycling rate. What's interesting about that is a few years back, I believe it was 2016, there was a Senate bill that basically said that municipalities could not hold on to multifamilies. So in other words, like apartment complexes, those types of things. And so where we used to get that revenue, we actually lost over $100,000 in revenue each year to waste management, the Republic Services, all of the private. So it's very important for us to stay competitive with our rates. We just did a rate study last year that kind of forecasts what our rates should be, based on operational needs over the next few years. So yeah, we stay as competitive as we can.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Because of the multi-family aspect, housing stock actually correlates somewhat with your solid waste and recycling.
That's absolutely right.
So it's actually related to affordable housing. So, okay.
Agreed. All right.
Connected.
That's right.
All right. So everybody got a nice little break. It's a little hot out there, so we'll try not to.
Everybody got a nice little break. It's a little hot out there, so we'll try not to have you out there too long, but we're ready to take a look at the trucks.
Okay.
And
All right.
is Nathan already ready?
We're waiting on the lead to come out. He's going to show, give a demonstration on one of our trucks. You get to see the way people really are excited when they see garbage trucks. So, no, seriously, little kids. Yes, love your garbage guy. There's one of our bulk trash vehicles coming in for the day. So Roy's the man. Roy, would you, maybe we can use one of the newer trucks so we can allow them to see the recycling message and some of the message on the truck. So can we use that one? Okay. So basically just say again. Yeah, that would be nice. Thank you. Okay.
That's the bulk trash. The rear loader. It has an articulated tractor behind it, and that collects all of the bulk trash from the street, places it in the rear loader. What Roy is going to now is called the side loader. That picks up your residential barrels, and then if you look just past that pole, that's what we call our front load collection.
Is this the blue one on the far right?
Right. I don't see a roll-off truck right now.
Okay.
But one should be coming in here pretty soon. Just to put truck signs on our vehicles. But what we try to do is be creative more with our recycling message, trash message. What we've been doing now is having the wraps. So the wraps have different messages. That's what we used to do with the signboards. As you can see, they fade. It gets kind of tough in the Arizona sun. Yes, absolutely. Are these water trucks right here? Yeah, those are actually they call them vacs. So they clean a lot of the manholes and a lot of the utilities and streets use those. So the street trucks are part of street public works. Yes, and utility services. So you see the sweepers over there. You got the utilities, which is the water services, and then you have a possession is 9/10 of the law. So you see, we try to take it from
Nicole, what do you think is the some big takeaways for your students?
Just hearing directly from the people doing the work and learning what their biggest sources of contamination are, just the whole operations. It's all really useful information so they can learn how to communicate it.
Excellent. Thanks.
Where's Mr. Gabby?
So we're
I guess
noticing
advertising the educating of the residents, right? The educational messages.
Yes.
educational messages. Anything else we're seeing and hearing? Yeah? What are you seeing and hearing?
I love that there's like an icon, with the anything, I think
Like
it
a
makes it, yeah, a mask probably makes it easy to remember, and like especially with kids and stuff, because young people are the future.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
So education appeals.
Yes.
That's hobby to Javelina.
That's what I was about to ask.
Yeah,
I
look like a hell of a.
Yeah.
And who was the voice? Hobby?
Huh?
The voice of Hobby?
That was me.
Really?
I hate that you asked that question. I didn't want. I was like, but I didn't want to lie. So
What's that? Oh, I have to admit you. I don't even see you. Oh, there you are. Okay, fabulous.
All right. So maybe what we can do. Roy's probably talking to one of his drivers. Mr. Bradley is the thing you don't want to get inside of.
Aaron.
And I just learned, do you have to have a commercial driver's license? Yes, you have to have a Class B commercial driver's license. Yeah. And really, our drivers are more than just drivers. They also operate the equipment. So, and then they have to use the tablet. So there's a lot of things going on. You know, you have to definitely pay attention. Yeah, you definitely can't just jump in on it. No, sir. And you're driving on the right hand side too.
Oh,
So, Roy, hey, Marcus. One of our equipment operators.
I'm gonna take that. Get to talk into it for the meeting. Yeah.
All right. So I've been doing this for about, I don't know, going on 7 years. This is one of our newer trucks. It's really good truck, advanced truck. Other than having all these logos on it and giving a little bit of education, the truck itself works wonderful. For recycling, we go both ways with it. We can pick up trash and then pick up recycle, depending on where we need it. But usually this truck itself stays in recycle. These guys pick up about anywhere from a 900 to about 1,100 cans a day. They go to the Phoenix MRF, Northgate transfer station twice a day. If you're on recycle, picking up garbage, these guys pick up about the same amount of cans, but they do go to different facilities to dump out. So we got Glendale here on Glendale Avenue. They take refuse there. Then we got Deer Valley. So it's optional for them, but the recycle guys, they all go to Northgate transfer station. This one right here holds about 10.5 tons on it. The guys have scales in here, so they know exactly about how much they need to put on. For recycle, since you're picking up paper, cardboard, plastics, it's not that heavy. So if you could get 10.5 tons here, man, it would be the best thing in the world, but there's no way. You could probably get about 4.5 tons. Most guys, average guys, but there's a couple guys that I got are real good. They could put 7 tons of recycle on it. If you're not watching that scale, the garbage guys, they can go over on this truck. This thing will just keep packing garbage, keep packing.
And what's the significance, Roy, of managing that load for a trash guy?
So it's very important on the trash side. All these routes are different. Some of these routes could be 3 loads. There's 2 on Thursday and Friday are 4 load routes. So you got to kind of time yourself out, know how many cans you got. It's real important because, like I said, let's say you do 4 loads that day. These guys, they are new, they'll try to throw it in 3 loads, and they're definitely going to go overweight. So you got to manage your weight, your time, and
what can happen if they're overweight?
Keep track of your cans too.
Overweight.
So these guys, we have a point system here. These guys get a certain amount of points in a day, and if they first couple times we talk to them, but if it happens more than that, we deduct points from them. And if you get pulled over by DPS, DOT, and they decide to pull scales out on you and weigh you out, you're gonna get a ticket. And if you're driving that vehicle, you're responsible for the weight of that truck and that ticket that driver.
Sometimes even $1 a pound. Yeah, so imagine if you're 2-3 tons over, that's easily $6 grand. Just like that. Yeah. We do.
I was gonna say, maybe you should explain what a hot load is.
So a hot load is when the load catches fire. And so, braking power reduces the more weight you have on the truck. So imagine this truck going down the street trying to stop, and there is potential accident. We want them to be able to stop in time so that they can avoid a lot of catastrophes. Thank you.
Because the weight of the truck, when you get a certain tonnage on there, you're gonna want to drop that. If not, you're gonna be off kilter. It's gonna be off balance. No. The driver will he'll drop that. He will drop that. Yeah.
It's just a weight distribution.
So these trucks right here, every time you dump one can, the thing will compact 3 times. It'll go in 3 times. Before you get to the next can, yeah.
Sometimes, can is can to can, so it doesn't have time to cycle.
And there is an option in there. You can put for it to cycle once, twice, or 3 times, but a lot of these guys keep it on 3 times because of the loads. It kind of interferes with when there's a contaminated load. Yeah. Sometimes we can't see it, and the guys at the MRF that are sorting it out, they'll try their hardest, but it's pretty hard. Once they get off the loader, it goes into a conveyor belt, and they'll actually start picking it up by hand. But it's kind of hard to detect if it's contaminated. Yeah.
Right.
So whenever we do residential pickup, we're always driving on the opposite side, so we'll always be on the right side. And then we control these things. We got a joystick like a video game. So the drivers have an option. They can either use a joystick or they got finger toggles over here. So the toggles actually, one pushes the rail out, one grabs it, and another dumps it.
Do those things have sensors or a limit so that it doesn't press the can?
It doesn't have a sensor. It'll keep squeezing it. So if it's a broken can, it'll squeeze it too hard, and it's kind of hard to empty. So you can kind of play with it and store it a little bit loose. It's kind of hard, but once you get doing it, you get accustomed to let it go a little bit, just so you can dump that can. Right. And we do have cameras in here. So we have a backup camera behind us. We have a camera on the opposite side of us. And then we have a camera going toward the hopper, so we can actually see what's being dumped inside there. This is just one driver operation, yes. And then they'll have a tablet here too. I don't know if they explained to you guys inside about the tablet. The route where, yeah. So the tablet right here will pop up and they'll give you the address that you're at. Every address that you're at, it'll pop up on the screen. Yeah. So the opposite side. It's just like a regular car. It'll be a passenger seat. And we usually have it with a seat just in case we do need to take a passenger. Sometimes we'll give people ride-alongs or when we're training, we'll sit next to the operator. This one is a little bit junky.
Is the driver responsible for maintenance?
He is. So each driver has their own truck, and they're supposed to take care of it, clean it. Whenever something's wrong with it.
A spare key?
So this thing right here, sometimes if these trucks break down and stuff, so that we don't leave our driver there, and we're getting a tow truck or something, we'll pull the key out and put it in here.
Oh.
And the tow company usually have all the codes to get in maintenance.
So I see there's a ladder here. Do you have to go up there and manually check stuff, or is that part of your maintenance?
So we really don't go up there,
Yeah.
but sometimes there's times that we pick a can up too loose or something and it'll fall in there. So there's times that we do, and then maintenance, whenever they're working on it, they need to get up there. They get up on that ladder.
I think we got to move. Thank you very much for everything.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
So good conversation over here too. We're in a lot today. All right, fabulous. We just have a few minutes here left, and in the interest of time, I think we'll maybe skip a debrief for today. But I did want to take this opportunity to thank our hosts once again. And can we all just give them a really big round of applause for thank you for taking the time out of your day to host us today, for the great insight you provided to our students, and show of hands if you feel more ready for this project.
Ready for the project and to submit a resume.
There you go. Where's those career connections? Jay, Rhonda, Aaron, any final thoughts for our students? Anything you want to say in parting?
I appreciate you coming. I know this is a long way to come out, but seeing kind of the operation, getting a sense for what's here, because an area at the beginning, we don't have a facility. You know, we're at the we have partners and we have to kind of comply with their models. And so we're always looking for partnerships and ways to do things through other organizations. So it's important that you kind of see what we're working with. Again, I heard a lot of comments about our staff and professionalism, and I'm glad you got to see Aaron and his passion and all of his folks and how strongly they believe in what they do. And they're excited to learn from you and how to do that better. So that's the best thing we have to offer is not necessarily the facilities that we operate, because we don't, but the passion and professionalism of the people that are doing that job.
Thank you. Thank you so much again. Students, make sure, please, if you reference this meeting here today in your final report, that you just include a citation for that. It is immensely helpful when we have to put those final reports together. So I thank you in advance. And yeah, I hope you all learned something new today. Sometimes just the opportunity to get out and you know, for the lack of it, to see it, to touch it, to hear it. This is how you get to know what this industry looks like. So I hope this has been a valuable experience for anyone. Anne, do you have any final thoughts?
No, I think he's pretty well covered in it, and it's the questions afterwards don't hesitate to collectively reach out to the communities. I'm sure Al and we just met for the first time. Probably have talked to you about kind of centralizing communication so that it's easiest for the city staff to respond. But I'm sure they would love it. Thank you. I'll excited to see what you come up with.
All right, that's it. Yeah, Aaron. Our staff, when I think about public works, you know, we do a lot of the grunt work, but I think a lot of individuals don't really know what goes into it. And you know, until your trash is missed, or until you know, your street is not swept, there's so many things that people don't realize that our staff does. And our staff does an amazing job. So they were a little, I caught them off guard, so I apologize for that. They were, oh, look, I'm on camera, I didn't do my makeup. I'll probably hear about that a little later. But just from the sounds and your responses and the fact that you really appreciate it, I can go back there and tell them, hey, you know, normally you don't really get to see, or people don't get to see what you do. This was your opportunity, and people are grateful. So thank you so much for coming. We really enjoyed that. Thank you.